Hi, and welcome to A Couple of Average Joe show. I am Mike.
I am Joe.
And this is Compelled. So this is from Ars Technica. Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been almost completely deplatformed. Now, I'm not one to bitch and moan about people being deplatformed.
Do you understand that?
I'm also not one to want to deplatform crazy people for their opinions. In fact, Patreon just sent me a thing about, it's like a video that says, you have the right to creativity, you have the right to this, we're not here to judge, which is so much full of shit. It's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Because they've completely deplatformed people that are giving out good information. They've deplatformed people that are fucking crazy. But again, we're not here to judge you. We're not here to tell you what to do with your stuff. But we'll certainly remove you from our platform if we disagree with your politics. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Rosie O'Donnell approach. You're silent. Pretty much, the Rosie O'Donnell approach is, if you don't agree with me and the way I see things, if you say anything different than the way that I say it, then you don't exist in my world. You are less than a human being, and you have to go bye-bye.
I can see that. All right. I get that.
Yeah.
So on Friday, Google removed the Infowars Android app from its Play Store, removing one of the last mainstream strongholds of infamous conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. The takedown came on the heels of a video posted in the Infowars app last week and viewed by Wired, in which Jones disputed the need for social distancing, shelter-in-place, and quarantine efforts meant to slow the spread of novel coronavirus. By the way, there's a really good video of a surgeon, of a medical doctor that's also a surgeon, about coronavirus, and he goes into detail about what coronavirus does and what's going to happen in the next coming months. And we don't have cures, we don't have vaccinations, we don't have anything for this right now, and it's going to be 12 to 18 months. So be smart, stay home, blah blah blah. Well, nobody's doing. Like yesterday when I was at work, the fucking freeways were, they weren't full like they normally were, but there was 3 times as many cars as has been in the last week yesterday.
Yeah. It's if I haven't gotten sick in the last couple of weeks, everything must be fine.
Oh yeah, this is, and nobody's taking it seriously. Oh, it's just the flu. It's not that serious. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And there's another video of a guy driving around New York, and this is so stupid. The National Guard is telling him it's nothing more than just the flu, and that don't panic and this and that and the other thing. They're completely lying right to his fucking face, while they're in full hazmat gear, of course. And then they say, "Oh, are you recording this?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, you can't record this because of HIPAA rules." Anyways, Google confirmed to Wired that it removed the app on Friday, which had more than 100,000 downloads since it has been published, and was rated E10+, meaning safe for all users 10 and older, which it shouldn't have been. It should have been 18 or, adult or whatever it is, mature, EM. The Infowars app sold products like supplements and protein powder, broadcast the Alex Jones show, and posted videos and articles from Jones and others. Now more than ever, combating misinformation on the Play Store is a top priority for the team. When we find apps that violate policy by distributing misleading or harmful information, we remove them from the store, is what Google says. In the video in question, Jones said that everyone dies under the New World Order except maybe 0.1% that believes they're going to merge with the machines and have made deals with this interdimensional thing that gave them all the technology. He has gone completely off the fucking deep end.
I remember him talking about the interdimensional shit when he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about taking DMT or some shit and, witnessing, other dimensions and, beings and shit like that. And fucking Alex Jones takes it to just the nth degree.
Yeah, you can't make a deal with these aliens, okay, that the Bible tells you about and ever get off the planet. Elsewhere in the video, Jones claims that natural antivirals exist to treat the novel coronavirus, or novel coronavirus, novel meaning new, coronavirus. It's novel COVID-19. Google is far from the first tech giant to block or ban Infowars. YouTube, Twitter, Patreon, and a bunch of others have already banned Infowars. In the wake of all the mainstream bans, Jones and his supporters have repeatedly not reportedly, maintain that blocking Infowars and Jones content only spreads it farther and makes it more popular, but research indicates that so-called deplatforming actions do effectively reduce the spread of hate speech, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. There's nothing wrong with hate speech, misinformation, and conspiracy theories as long as, we don't need for fucking people to hold our hands on this shit. We should be able to make our own judgments and our own decisions on what we're watching, Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. If the guy wants to spread information out there and it's misinformation and you know that he's wrong, then you chalk it up to entertainment. I don't think he's doing anything that's harmful. He's a fucking loon.
Yeah, I think that people might be willing to take him a tad bit more seriously because the guy is actually really intelligent.
Take him more seriously by saying that there's fucking aliens out there that are trying to take over the world like they live.
If he would, pull his head out of his dimensional ass and come back to planet Earth, and look, regardless if he believes that if the aliens exist or not, in another dimensions, we're not ready for that shit if they really do exist, okay? We need to figure out what's going on planet fucking Earth right now, because there's a lot of shit that needs to be understood and worked out. So that's where he's fucking up. So he needs to get his head out of the dimensional portal and come back here.
He's fucking crazy, Joe.
No shit.
So telling someone that he needs to get his head out of his ass, and come back down to planet Earth isn't real. He doesn't. It's not where he lives. I haven't really seen enough of his stuff to really make a full-on judgment. I mean, there's part of me that thinks, he just does this shit because it gets clicks, right? And he just went to super extremes. It's kind of like the Jerry Springer show. When it first started out, it wasn't the crazy fighting ghetto fucking, midgets fucking your ex-wife bullshit that it is now. You know what I mean? So it started off more calm and, respectful in a way. I get that. But again, nobody gives a shit about that stuff. People want to be entertained.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit if he's out there spewing his rhetoric? Who cares if whatever he's saying? I mean, like I said, if you honestly believe his nonsense, and there are people out there that do, you're not going to change their minds. You're not going to. I mean, he has 100,000 people that have downloaded his app. 100,000. And that's not going to stop him from putting his app up on his website. That's not going to stop him from putting video up on his website. That doesn't stop him from doing anything and broadcasting that stuff.
Hey, I mean, look, regardless of how much bullshit it may be, he has the right to post whatever the fuck he wants. And anyone who disagrees with him has the right to make their own counter argument videos against his shit if they want to.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole point of this of me talking about this, of us talking about this.
Yeah.
It's to the point where, he doesn't have the right to just post it on YouTube because YouTube is it's not a publisher. They're considered a private platform. Yeah. And there's free speech doesn't work on Facebook or YouTube or anything else like that.
YouTube has become the standard for posting stuff.
Yeah.
Posting videos.
But it's not, just because you could become the standard doesn't mean that it's a private platform. They can remove anybody anytime they want for any reason because it's their platform. It's not a public platform. And there needs to be an alternative to YouTube where people can just post whatever the fuck, well, not whatever, but people can post the information that they want to post and just let it go, And I'm not talking about porn or anything else like that. I'm talking about taking the YouTube content and putting it onto a platform that's public, Yeah. And going from there. Anyways, that's a joint statement from Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube said that companies are pledging to help millions of people stay connected while also jointly combating fraud and misinformation about the virus, which, whatever. Jones has received either public pushback as well. Jones has received other public pushback as well for his claims about the spread and treatment of COVID-19. Earlier this month, New York Attorney General Letitia James sent him a cease and desist for saying in videos and on Infowars that his DNA Force supplements, Super Blue toothpaste, and Silver Sol gargle could protect against or treat the novel coronavirus. As the coronavirus continues to pose serious risks to public health, Alex Jones has spewed outright lies and has profited off of New Yorkers' anxiety. Mr. Jones' public platform has not only given him a microphone to shout inflammatory rhetoric, but his latest mistruths are incredibly dangerous and pose a serious threat to the public health of New Yorkers and individuals across the nation. And here's the other thing. When you have someone like Alex Jones that pops up on a channel, the universe balances itself out. There's going to be another person that pops up and starts saying, hey, this is what's going on with Alex Jones. This is why this is wrong. This is why this is right. This is why, blah, blah, blah. And it balances out. That's how that works. So
snake oil salesmen have existed since the history of the world, part one.
That's true.
So there's always going to be people gullible enough to get duped. And there's always going to be people that aren't stupid enough to fall for that shit. And hopefully they'll tell the gullible people to open their fucking eyes.
Yep.
So if he's selling this shit and for a fact it doesn't work, then he's a piece of shit for doing it. That's opportunism to a level that, I don't even know how I would categorize it, but just that's so wrong. But people falling for it, though, it's like, where's the line, between personal accountability and then criminal act on his part?
Well, it doesn't work. There's no FDA evidence that it does work.
Yeah.
Not that I trust the FDA, but
yeah. Then you got to spend like $100 million to get your shit tested and approved.
Something
and it takes
like
like 5 years or some shit. It's a joke. Really have all these chemically made quote unquote solutions that are, the fix for everything. And, those get approved because they're made by billion-dollar companies. But yet you try to have someone that brings something natural into the mix that's way better for you. Good luck. Good luck getting that FDA approved. Instead, you're going to get that asterisk on your product saying, has not been proven and tested by the FDA.
Yeah, so who cares? Who cares if it hasn't been approved? If they've had doctors work on it and it hasn't been approved by the FDA. Look, the FDA does good things and it does some dumb things. But for the most part, just because it hasn't been, lab tested by the FDA or whatever else, like pills, like when they're in research mode for pills and they're doing those tests, they're not approved by anybody else. You have to sign a document, for side effects, and then after they do all that, they send it to the FDA, which again, that takes forever and a day when it shouldn't take that long for medicine to be approved by the FDA to be thrown on the market.
I'm going to make a bad analogy.
Don't then.
My analogy is baseball. You have teams that have way bigger budget than other teams. And because of that, they don't have a salary cap, right? So they're allowed to pay as much as they want for the best players and fuck everybody else who can't afford to get those best players. That's the FDA to me, or companies that are able to get their shit funded through get tested through the FDA. It's a elitist only game. That's how I see it.
So this is from Ars Technica. Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been